Good job it's coffee chat day. Plenty of time to just sit around and get stuff sorted. Oh, I also need my tarot deck, which is, what should we use? Let's use the basic one today. Oh, no, I know. Could use my Marielle. I haven't done a reading with this yet. Risha, you having internet problems again? Okay, hang on. What's going on here? Oh, I am live. There we go. Oh, I love it. I love it. Ash, I haven't done a reading with it yet. This is the first reading I've done with it, which I'm going to do in a bit. So I'm not familiar with it at all. But I just like looking at the pictures. It's so, so gorgeous. So pretty. Right. Let's get me a little bit more on screen. Pin. There we go. Share. Oh, God. I'm having a day. I'm having a day. So much going on today. It's just been whoa. But everything's done for Midsummer Chronicles. I've just got one more PDF to proofread. And then that's going up. It's not much fun being dyslexic and having to proofread stuff, but yay. The plugs are in the wrong way round. Hang on. Because it would be too easy for it all to be working like that. All of it to be working, wouldn't it? Hang on. Let me figure out which one's which. Maddie, don't cry, my sweet. Okay, that's the one. There we go. Okay. Let's try that again. Okay, that's done. And now we just got to find the picture on the other one, because it's disappeared now. There we go. Yay, we're back. Not quite cooking with gas, but we've got sort of a campfire thing going. Okay, it's close. Can't see chat now. Oh my God. Okay, if I move you over there, I'll be able to see what's going on. I was just going to say, Rish, we've not seen you with your hair down before. It looks really pretty. And there you are, pinning it up. I was just going to say it looked really nice. Oh, it's too hot. Yeah, I know the feeling. Oh, I love my short haircut. I don't know why I ever had long hair, ever. Okay. Jane's got to go in a minute, dropping the family off, but taking us with me. Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll be on. We're just doing the usual, sort out what we're doing, do a tarot reading, do an oracle reading, that kind of thing. Kill that fly if it ever comes anywhere near me, because it's driving me insane. If he stays much longer, I'm going to start charging him rent. Let me just move the chat down a bit so I don't have to keep looking up in the air. Oh, that's better. My neck won't hurt now. Okay. The Marielle. Oh, you've got the Marielle as well, Luna. I've got, Ashley sent me like the big pretty box, the special edition one with the gold edging and everything. I'm not sold on the black edges. It makes the cards a little bit too big for my little pudgy gnome fingers, but it's kind of cool. It looks really good. So if you ever need to proofread anything because you're too busy or whatever, shout me. Oh, that would be great. Usually KK proofreads everything for me. But with her being in Australia, you know, if I'm doing stuff in the afternoon, usually I'm writing stuff in the morning, checking stuff in the afternoon, and then I need it proofreading. And of course, she's in bed by then. If she's around, she seems to have gone AWOL again. I think it might be her son's wedding this week. So that might be why she's not about. But that's brilliant, Luna. Yeah, thank you. Will you message me your email, what the best email to get you on is? Because I'm never sure which email is yours because you have so many different names everywhere. Do the dogs try to get the fly? Have you met my dogs? Scooby, as far as Scooby's concerned, catching flies is a menial task. And Maddie can't jump that high. And Maddie has no intention of jumping that high. If the fly happens to fly past her as she's walking through the room, or when she's lying in bed, you know, if it comes too close, she might make the effort. But other than that, they changed it in the newest edition. I'm not sure what edition I have. It doesn't really... Mika's got the Mary L first edition. Ooh. Monthly spread, Burgess. Let's have a look. Oh, very nice. She's back in her bullet journal, are you? Or is this just like a monthly layout?
No, I'm back in the bullet journal.
Yeah.
I found myself journaling more in the B6, writing.
Yeah.
More because that size, you don't have as much room, so my hands don't hurt as bad. So I went back to the A5 and I did like a nature theme, and I actually set up. I did a different thing. This is my big one. I set up a big nature notes where when I come home from my outings, I can take stuff from my little one. Well, it's A5, so it's not really little.
Cool. So your little one is for
out and about,
and your out and about stuff.
And then I have, it's a wheel of the year, but it's not pagan necessarily. This is stuff that I associate with each month. These are the seasons, and then these are the things that I find out when I'm out and about.
That's so cool. What a great idea.
Because you were like, I have the other wheel of the year, but I'm still trying to learn that stuff. And I figured this might be a really good way for me to actually learn stuff. And the way that I want to set this up is by having like a month each. Well, I'm starting it. I've got some stuff from May to put in, but I thought I'd have like 2 or 3 or 4 pages for each month. You know, whatever ends up working out. And then I'd make notes, little notes, and draw things from or add pictures while I'm out. This will actually not have pictures in it. This is where I do the sketching. And I can take a little notes. I've got Post-it notes in my bag to take with me to add little notes. And I'm going to take pictures. And I thought this would be the cumulative effort. So I have, you know.
So you have almost like a workbook of shadows and a book of shadows, but in a out and about journaling form.
Yeah, well, I figured it's time for me to start combining and making things, letting things grow organically for the mind, body, spirit, all together.
Yeah, you do try to pigeonhole things, and it doesn't work for you, right. And then you re-pigeonhole things, and then it still doesn't work. So you change your pigeonholes, and it just doesn't work for you. You do need to grow organically with it and relax with it.
Right. So I thought this would be a good way, you know, to set up so that it makes sense to me, because I do need to, in a little bit of a way, at least for OCD's sake, because of my anxiety, set up things so that it makes sense to me, so that it's semi-organized. So
but that's the thing, by doing it sketches and rough notes first, and then, for want of better words, invest in your big journal later in a more organized way or a revised way, it's more natural to you, because that's how you work when you're writing. Yeah. You make rough notes, you write in rough, and then you edit it into what you want it to be.
Well, I do that with art too. If I'm trying to learn something, I do the messy way, and then I do a clean it up way where I'm, after I've played around with it, I do it in art too. So that I have the freedom.
Journaling.
Huh?
You don't do it with your journaling. You tend to dive right in with your journaling.
Yeah, with the journaling, and
then you try to over-organize it.
Well, I think
you've got a winner here with working in a way that you usually work in for everything else, because it's only your journaling that you keep changing all the time.
Right. Well, I the first few months of this year, it's been playing around and reorganizing and pigeonholing and unorganizing and then reorganizing. But I'm actually this is making a lot more sense. What was that bullet journal, the little B6, has now become the messiness. It's just a bunch of everything and anything. And so I don't even have to worry about whatever's in there. It's just anything I put in there. And then I have the
not to be picky, but you don't technically have to worry about anything you put in any of your books, because
I know, but I know, and I'm getting better. I'm getting better about it.
You are getting a lot better than you were like even 2 years ago. You were so uptight about what you put where, and
now I'm letting a lot of things go.
But just for you to be able to say you want to try working organically with it is, it's not, but it's a natural way of working for you. It is how you work. And yet whenever you do your journaling and stuff, you try to pigeonhole it into, this is what I want it to be.
Yeah, I'm trying to let go of the pigeonhole and the compartmentalizing. I'm trying really hard, but if I try too hard, then I'm gonna end up right back worse, because then I'm pigeonholing than not pigeonholing.
Yes.
And I don't want to do that. So that's why when it came to this, I just felt like, so
you have a rough version, then you have an organized version, then you have an organic version.
So this, I just went and I just was like, okay. And I even have messy, like, I was like, oh, these are awful. And I was like, you know what? They're just going to stay up there. I don't care how kid-like, I'm having fun and I'm playing around, and I got paint over here, and what I could fix, I fixed, and what's not fixed, I'm like, screw it. So,
excellent.
But I'm having fun. And
that's what we need to hear from you, Burgess. We need to hear you shouting "screw it" more often.
Yeah, well, that's but you can tell, like, where I messed up here too. I was like, you know what? It's okay. I don't care. I don't care. I'm gonna have fun, and if it's messy, it's messy. And if I don't like it, then you know what? The next time I draw it, maybe I'll like it better.
Yeah. Plus, there's also the thing that, at the moment you might care that it's messy, even no matter how much you say that you don't care. You're almost trying to convince yourself that you don't care, because actually you really do, and it's really bugging you, but you're trying not to let it.
Right. Well, I'm trying hard.
The more you concentrate on not allowing this mistake, for want of a better word, to bug you, the more you're forgetting about the previous ones. So they will bother you less because you've got a new one to worry about.
Well, I got so excited about like how this turned out.
I think that's lovely.
Really like how this turned out, that I was like, you know what, it'll be okay. And I like how that bee turned out. It's like there's so much stuff in this that I actually do like.
Yeah.
That one or two little things that bug me a little, I'm like, they don't bug me so much because there's so much I do really like.
Yeah.
And I had so much fun doing all this.
The freehand watercolor is really coming along with you now that you've broken out of I must outline everything. And there's nothing wrong with outlining everything. I'm an outliner myself, but you seem to have broken that habit, and your artwork is coming along because of it, I think.
I've been going back. I've been doing I've been doing it without outlining, the same thing. I've been playing around with outlining and then not outlining, like doing it freehand, and that way I can kind of feel the difference. You can, like, normally I would have actually like went in and made this like exact, because this is supposed to be the, you know, these are the two different journals.
It's got so much more character without that.
So, but I said, you know what, it's okay. And like this one is supposed to be sideways, not up and down. But I was like, never, it's okay. I almost went in and fixed it. And then I was like, nope.
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 So
nope.
I'm trying, and like this, we had flounder for dinner, and this popped into my head from Finding Nemo. And I put that on the page.
All over the world are going, no!
When I had flounder, and I was like, and this was a tag that came on something, and I put that on there on purpose because I keep thinking, you know, it starts at the top. And I was thinking to myself, if I don't stop and just be happy with where I'm at right now on top of things, you know, if I don't, that's where I need to be right now.
There does come a point where you're no longer having reactionary anxiety. You're actually generating your own.
Yeah.
And when you get to that point, you have to just back off and say, whoa there.
So I've been having, like, I can tell the difference.
I love that caterpillar. I was watching you paint that caterpillar the other day with that. Have you got that book handy? Do you want to show everybody that book you've been using? She's got a watercolor studies book that I've not seen before. Isn't it cute? Look at that.
She has
box.
It's her YouTube channel is called Wonder Forest.
Oh,
and
right.
I love what she does because I want the ocean book too. Hopefully that will be my anniversary present.
I love how she's themed it as like all woodland type things. You don't see that very often in books.
But it has there's some things. Where's the one?
What did you say? Wonder Forest.
Wonder Forest is the name of her YouTube channel.
I'm gonna look her up. I like her style of painting. It's really pretty.
I do too. Where's the one animal I had never heard of? Watch it be in the back.
Is that proper watercolor paper as well?
Yes, ma'am.
So because I noticed you were drawing in it. So it's proper watercolor paper, and you literally, she's got the instructions and how-tos and pictures on one side, and you copy. That's really nice. Are those pre-drawn or
yes? Yes, they look like light pencil sketches, but you can't feel them, so it's imprinted in there. But
so it is specifically learning to paint watercolor. You don't even have to worry about the drawing or anything. Right. You can literally concentrate on just painting.
Right, and she does tell you exactly what to do. And when I did it in my journal, I did it the way that I would normally, like where you start with the lightest color, because when she tells you to do the caterpillar, she tells you to do the green first. And that freaked me out because I'm like, no, green is dark, yellow's light, you know? But I did it the way that she said. And
so she's an illustrator, because a watercolorist, a painter would start light to dark.
So when I did it,
would start dark to light.
Right. When I did it in my own journal, I definitely, and I love the pine cone because I really want to do pine cones at Christmas. So getting better at doing pine cones. I'd never heard of this.
A stoat. What's the difference between a weasel and a stoat? I bet Luna's the only one who knows that the answer.
Well, this is this little weasel, but it's called a stout. And I'm like, okay, is it a weasel or a stout?
No. The difference between a weasel and a stoat: a weasel is weaselly identified, and a stoat is totally different. They are different animals.
But it doesn't. But I really like. She tells you what colors,
and you English then, because a stoat is an English animal.
I think she has an accent. I'm not sure. I don't know that much about her.
Stoats are only found in England.
But
it's a mature paint by numbers book. It really is, yeah.
But it is. But see, I wanted something. I'm taking some classes on Skillshare, and I watch you, but until you're actually doing it.
Is there anybody who isn't taking classes on Skillshare?
You know, but if you are, until you're actually doing it, you know. I've had this book. I started it. I'm back in it, but I got distracted by a whole bunch of things. And then this, but I have to say, I can't wait until I finish this one and go to the ocean one. I'm like, I love
books.
Yeah, isn't that gorgeous? That reminded me of that Hobonichi cover thing.
You know what I would be tempted to do is if you've got a scanner, is just scan those little drawings in before you paint them. And then you do them again to learn to draw from, or or paint again, or you could, as long as you're using it for your own personal use, you can do that as much as you want.
Yeah, I'm loving it, but it's really helping me because I'm getting out of my comfort zone, because it took a lot for me to start with that green and not start with the yellow in the book.
I can imagine.
But it's fun. Look at the little rabbit.
Oh,
she's got a lot of really good stuff in here. Little raccoon.
Cute. I'm gonna have to stop you there because we need to move on. But that's a beautiful book. So Dana Fox, Into the Woods, is it called?
It's called Watercolor with Me in the Forest.
In the Forest.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
she's got an ocean one as well. I'll have to find it and put it on my Amazon shop, and then
the ocean one is on pre-order. It actually comes out in November.
I don't like ocean stuff, but I adore that forest book. I'm tempted to get that myself. Anybody else want to share what they've been up to? Anyone? Mara's like, no, I've been moving all week. Are you now settled into your new place for now? Your temporary new place? Yeah, good. Unpacking. Yeah. I think, honestly, the first time you move, from that point on, you're forever unpacking. My friend is actually, she's moving, Scooby. Oh, to unmute it, I have to press it twice. Okay. Yeah, my friend's just bought a house. She graduated a couple of months ago. She walked straight out, literally before she graduated. She'd applied for a job at a local hospital and she got it. She's a radiographer. But she came top in her year, magna cum laude with honours, everything, all the stuff, valedictorian and everything of her year. She was invited to join all the societies, because apparently you have professional societies. I think they're basically like sororities, aren't they? But you have different professional societies, and every single one of them wrote to her and said, come and join us, because she scored that highly. And literally she had been to a interview and already got and accepted a job. $25 an hour she earns. And that's standard, 40 hours guaranteed. That's her standard rate. If she does extra, she gets extra. Like, I should have been a radiographist. But she's finally bought her own house with her boyfriend. So they've got everything cleared and everything. And she keeps texting me and like, how do I pack all this stuff? You've moved house. How do I pack stuff? Because I have no idea. And if I ask my mother, her mother's an idiot. She said, I don't trust my mother to pack anything. I wouldn't trust her to pack a suitcase. So how do I pack all this? And I'm like, right, okay. You take your big boxes, you put all your books in the bottom, but you distribute them evenly and you only fill it half full. So nothing's too heavy. You don't put all your books in one box, because you'll have one box that nobody can carry. You know, and I'm like, all the essentials, you spread those out in your little Tupperware containers or your storage containers at the top of the boxes. And anything you will not need to see for the next 6 months, you put in a separate box and you bank on not opening it until the next time you move. I've still got 2 boxes here that I haven't unpacked since the last time I moved 3 years ago. And the stupid thing is I know what's in them, and I know I don't want to get rid of any of it, but I need to unpack it, really. Oh, anyway. Your goal is to be done this weekend. Good luck with that. You might manage it this time. You won't manage it next time. Because that happened to me. I moved into temporary accommodation for 2 months. And then I had to pack it all up and move again. And since then, some of it's still packed up. You got rid of everything that was not unpacked. Got tired of being a storage centre. Yeah. I suppose if you can get the... They do say, you know, your grandfather didn't listen to the don't put all the books in one box advice. Yeah, my dad taught me that many, many years ago. My very first move into university, and I started putting all my books. I did the whole books box, clothes box, you know, and he's like, no, you don't do that. Clothes are light, books are heavy. Split them equally, half and half. One layer of books on the bottom, clothes on the top. Otherwise, you'll have boxes you can't pick up. Your husband put all your books in one box and found out the hard way. Oh, did he pick up the box and not the books? Anyway, let's get going. I know it's chat. It's nice to chat, and it's nice when people show us what they're working on, but we do have stuff to do. So let's get on with that, and then we'll come back to anybody who wants to do show and tell. Okay, so this month, we're going for a nice easy month this month because we've still got 4 weekends. So we've still got 4 Saturdays, so 4 full weeks. But the 7th to the 9th, I'm not available because I've got the Urban Sketchers weekend. Urban Sketchers UK is being hosted by our Urban Sketchers, and I'm one of the admins, so I have to be there for at least a couple of the things. I'm not going to make it to all of them, but I'm going to do the Friday evening, which is going to double up for Midsummer Chronicles because we're going to Stoke Minster, and apparently Stoke Minster's organ has a huge green man on it. So I'm going to go and draw the green man. There's also a couple of other green men around Stoke, so I can go and have a look at those as well. Saturday morning, they're doing Burslem School of Art, which I've done to death. I'm not interested in doing that anymore. So I'll probably miss that one. But then the afternoon and evening, we're going out for a meal and we're doing Longport Station, which I have wanted to do for ages. They've just redone it up and it looks amazing and I want to go and do that. And then Sunday morning, we're doing something else that I really want to do, and then having Sunday lunch before everybody goes home. I can't remember what Sunday is, but yeah, it's going to be a good weekend. But I will be around, but I won't be doing any classes because I can't do all of that. Well, I can't do all of that. I can't do the 4 sessions. I can do 3 of them, but I can't do that and teach as well. So there won't be anything that weekend. So coffee chat today, 22nd is Lither. That will be our Stitch and Witch session. 22nd. Again, I'll put this all on the calendar. You don't have to write it down. Some people like to know what the dates are and write it in their own books, so that's fine. And it's all subject to change, of course, but I like to have a plan at least. So the 20th will be our Lither design and stuff, which means the 18th will be our Lither study guide. Which, for those doing Midsummer Chronicles, ties in with Fire Week, which is for Lither as well. So you won't be duplicating stuff. You'll be able to do your inspiration gathering for Midsummer Chronicles and then use that to do this class. That's how I'm setting it up. I don't want you to have to do double stuff, but I also don't want you to feel like you're getting only half the thing. So the idea is you'll be able to gather the inspiration for the Lither one in Midsummer Chronicles, and then you'll be able to bring that over to here and use that to create something over here. Did I just say exactly the same thing twice? I think I did, didn't I? I'm so hot. Look at my face. I'm so flushed. I did kind of, yeah. I tried to explain it the second time, but I realized halfway through I'd already explained it really well the first time. Anyway, so I think we need something easy next week to give you time to get into the Midsummer Chronicles for those of you who are doing it. So I think next week we should do astrology, because the astrology will be nice and easy. You should be quite well up on that by now. Basically exactly the same all over again with House 6. And those of you who are playing catch up, you can just do whatever it is you want to do. So 4th of June, astrology, House 6. So what sign and planet is that? Anyone want to guess or work it out? The sign before Cancer. Oh, close. The one after Leo. Closer, yes. What comes after Leo? Virgo, correct. House 6, Virgo. Earth sign. So, Tuesday the 4th, study guide. Thursday the 6th, Astro Chat. And on the 8th, I think just to get away from the whole drawing herbs and plants and all that kind of stuff that we're doing, let's do some astrology art to do with House 6 and Virgo. And my mind's gone blank. Who rules Virgo? Mercury? No, he's air. Venus. Must be a Venus. Is it a Venus double up with Taurus? Oh, it is Mercury. Huh. Mercury's an air sign. Oh, weird. Anyway, yeah, let's do some astro art. Give us a chance to draw pretty girls again, won't it? We haven't done that for a while. And it's always a winner. Drawing pretty girls with lots of pretty hair and all that kind of stuff. It's always a winner. Plus, we're doing boys in the, well, men for the Green Man over in Midsummer Chronicles. So you get 2 for the price of 1. You'd be repeating stuff. Always good to repeat stuff. That gives us 2 weeks. So the 15th and the 19th will be our drawing herbs 4 and 5, which will be sage and rosemary. On now. Yeah, good boy. Quiet now. Okay. Do you need to bark at everybody? It's not necessary. It's really not. Okay, so something else we were going to do was fire element, which we're also doing in Midsummer Chronicles. So I think that'll be a good one to double up with. So fire is the 3rd week. So let's do a study guide on the 25th and a chat and art session on the 27th for the element of fire, ways to connect with it, correspondences, all that kind of jazz that we normally do, because we've done earth and air, haven't we? So if we do fire, That fits with Flaming June, I reckon. So what should we do in the extra week? We've got a study guide and a chat art session spare, but we've only got one. So have we got anything that we already said we were going to do, but we haven't done yet? I don't remember. Anyone want to make a suggestion? I know Cody's got a book full of suggestions there. Oh, hang on. I've put the Astro Art House 6 girls in for the 8th, and I can't do that, can I? Okay, we'll move her to the 13th. Astro Art House 6 moved to the 13th. Because I'm not available that weekend, am I? So we've only got one day. We've got the 11th. Is a study guide day. Do you want a week off again? Or would you prefer to have a week off to catch up and stuff? Or would you prefer to have a prompt or have something? You want to have an optional prompt? I'll come up with something for an optional prompt. And you can do it or not do it. It's not really necessary to do it, but if you want to, it'll be. Is anyone but Mara actually caught up with everything? Should I just do a prompt for Mara? An optional prompt. Okay. I'll do an optional prompt. A myth study guide. Okay. You could do, well, you could do the myths, actually. A myth study guide for Virgo, Mercury, and Litha. Couldn't you? I mean, we're doing Litha anyway, but we do Litha as part of the Wheel of the Year and the correspondences and everything. But there are certain stories and stuff around Litha. I mean, obviously, we've got the Green Man, which we'll do in Midsummer Chronicles. Some of you are not doing Midsummer Chronicles, so I can put the Green Man as part of the list. So if you're not doing it in one class, you can do it in the other. There's obviously the Journey of the God and Goddess, which is part of the Wheel of the Year. Learning myths is really important for astrology. I think some folks might find it useful. Yeah, it is useful, yeah. That's why I like to add the myths in when I'm doing the astrology and the tarot. I have the Mythic deck for tarot. But I haven't used it really with the class because none of you know your myths yet. Maybe that's something we need to start adding in, is once a week, a myths. Because we can always make art from myths. That's easy. Let me write that down. So going forward, one myths session a month. So we'll start having one Astro week, 1 week that's to do with whatever Wheel of the Year we've got going on that week. Perhaps the ones where we've got a Wheel of the Year, we could do that. And then the ones where we haven't got a Wheel of the Year, we could do myths and legends. Okay. Maybe we could look at myths as a kind of the second 6 months of the year. And just pick specific myths to look at that are relevant. Like the Chiron, who was I talking to? Liz, I think it was. I was talking to about, we were talking about Chiron, the centaur, who is the wounded healer, and his link to the myth of Prometheus, which is the Aquarian myth. So if I can maybe tie them in like that and kind of have them as whether two people appear in a myth, you can double them up then, can't you? Yeah, I like that because I love doing myths. And the good thing is you don't have to do just Greek or Roman myths. I mean, it's good to know the Greek and Roman myths, but if you already know the Greek and Roman myths, you can go and research, what's the Egyptian equivalent or what are the Viking equivalent and all that kind of stuff. You can broaden your horizons a bit with other stories. I'm swamped this month as kids has final 10 exams. Ooh, is he GCSE? You'll come along and sharpen pencils and cut stuff up. Excellent. Hey, if all you do is cut things out of magazines for 2 hours and stick them in your books, that's a start, isn't it? It's better than not doing anything, right? Okay, I'll look into that. We'll start off with that study guide for no, it's a good job it's 2 weeks' time. Because June's a bit of a busy month. And then July's a bit of a busy month as well. By the way, spoiler, for those of you who are signed up to Carrie Harling's planner site, she does a planner mag. Go find it on her website, Dispatches from the Frat House. Carrie Harling, she's on YouTube. She's one of the One Book July girls. This year's One Book July is open season. So we're asking all of you guys for ideas because after 6 years, we're out. Or after 6 years, I'm out. I have too much else going on to come up with something this year, and the others are a bit busy. So I said, well, why don't we put an open house thing and get other people to make a suggestion, and then we'll pick one that sounds really cool. So if you've got any ideas, keep a watch out for that on her planner mag. It should be coming out fairly soon, I hope. Or she's not going to have time to do it. I have to go and kick her in the pants later. Yeah, if you've got any ideas for One Book July that you've thought, oh, why don't we try this or why don't we try that or whatever, keep an eye out for that. Make your suggestions. And then Carrie's going to pick her 3 favourites. Did you do creative planning? A creative planning year? No, we haven't. What an excellent idea. There you go. Creative planning. I hope you're going to make that as a suggestion. I love that idea. That's right up my alley. Okay, I think we're sorted then. So study guides, house 6, something mythy to do with something relevant for this month, a study guide specifically for Litha and fire element, connecting with fire. And then Thursdays, astrology chat for house 6, then Astro Art for House 6 for the following week, which ties in with your myths and legends. So you can do something for your myths and legends. Litha Design for our Stitch and Witch. And then Chat and Art for connecting with the fire element. And then on the Saturdays, nothing next week. Drawing Herbs Sage, the Stitch and Witch session, and Drawing Herbs Rosemary. How does that sound? Ba-dum, boom. Yes? Awesome. I haven't done... Oh, I need to do the astrology thing, don't I? You should be looking up your own transits, There's nothing to stop you doing this yourself, but since I do it anyway, I will look up the transits and write them down for June and publish those because I know you asked for them. I don't mind doing it because I do it for myself anyway. If I didn't do it for myself anyway, I would be like, why can't you go and look it up? You're going to do it yourself. You know how to do it. But I can do it. It's fine. You're You might have to remind me because I've got so much going on at the moment. So should we start with an oracle? Oracle for, let's do something to do with inspiration, shall we? Since that's what our midsummer class is, and that's what I think almost everybody who turns up for the chat sessions is actually doing Midsummer Chronicles as well. So I know there's a few of you who are not doing Midsummer Chronicles, but you tend to be, you are mostly the people who are not coming to the live sessions anyway. You're doing things at your own pace, so that's fine. What myth tarot deck was I talking about? The Mythic Tarot. That's what it's called, the Mythic Tarot. It's a great way of learning your myths because it's got all the stories. Shall I go and get it? It's the one I carry around in my bag. I've just got to reach my bag. Hang on. Oh. This one. This is the, I think this is the original edition. There's two different editions. It's by Liz Green. So all you Liz Green fans will like this one. Very nice deck. Lovely purple colour. And it's based on Rider-Waite. So you've got to be able to spot the people and go, oh, that's so-and-so. It's a bit tricky. You have to know your myths. Yeah, I don't think this is the 1986 version. I think this is the 1992, if I remember correctly. The 1986 version is so difficult to get hold of. Oh, it's got it written on there. Oh, this is the reprint. This is the reprint one from 2008. So it's a reprint of the 1992 deck. I prefer the 1986 one, but they're like gold dust. They're so hard to get hold of. See, you've got to know your myths to know who these are. The only person who could ride Pegasus. I've been looking on eBay for ages and I found one, but it was like £150. And I'm like, yeah, I like it, but not £150 worth of like it. 50, I could be tempted because they're hard to find. Is it the one by Juliet? Yes. Juliet Sharman Burke and Liz Green. And Giovanni Caselli illustrations. Temperance. But you really do have to know. Who's that? Anybody know? Zeus. Ooh, these are all upside down. Someone told me on Facebook they were going to reprint the 1986 version. Yeah, they've been saying that for a while. I wish they would because the pictures are so good. I love the pictures from that. Anyway, yeah, that's the Mythic deck. Really good for learning your myths because you can just pull one out and go, who the hell is this? There is a book that goes with it, but again, it's very hard to find. But there is also a PDF that you can find online if you search in the right places. That also tells you what all the myths are from each card. Okay. Inspiration and creativity. Well, we've done creativity before. We're looking at inspiration. Inspiration. Don't we have a... Yeah, we do. We have a new moon on Monday. New moon on Monday, full moon on the 17th. So new moon to full moon is new moon to full moon. The waxing moon. Waxing, waning. Waxing, waning. Do we remember that? Anyone? Hello? Are you awake out there? Oh. You're a Karate Kid. Yes. Wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax off. Waxing moon. New moon to full moon. Somebody answer or I'll pick on somebody. Risha doesn't know. Thank you, Risha. I don't know is a perfectly good answer. Ina doesn't know either. She hasn't been here for the class. Burgess should know. She's a moon girl. I bet Cody knows. Luna will know. Luna will be able to tell you more about it than I can. The new moon, you missed the question. Right. We've got a new moon on the 3rd and we've got a full moon on the 17th. So the period from the 3rd to the 17th is all about what? Setting intentions, correct. That is the dark moon. That's the first bit. Setting stuff up, yes, that's the next bit, up to the first quarter. Increasing things, yep, that's the first quarter. So now we've got the first quarter to the full moon is what? Yeah, it's all waxing towards taking action. Yes, correct, Deb. Rising in energy. Yeah, taking action, rising in energy. And then the full moon is full is gratitude. Yes. Kind of. I would have said the dark moon was more gratitude at the end, but I suppose it depends where you do it. Maybe you've got the wrong word because you're not a native English speaker, so you might have just got the wrong translation. Benefits, yes. Culmination. Reaping the rewards, the culmination of your plans. So the dark moon, the first crescent, which is the day after, it's called the new moon. Everybody calls the new moon the dark moon, the new moon. It's not. The dark moon is the night when there's nothing, no moon in the sky. The very first night after that, the first crescent is the new moon for us. The new moon is when we start to decide what we're going to do. We set our intentions. Then the new moon to the full moon is a waxing period. Waxing, getting bigger. Waning, getting smaller. Waxing, waning. Okay? So full growth period from setting intentions to fulfillment. Dark moon, new moon, set your intentions. New moon to first quarter, get things set up. First quarter, increasing, rising of energy. First quarter to full moon, taking action, putting things into fruition, starting things off, getting things done. Full moon, culmination, full project pinnacle. We are getting things sorted. Ta-da! And then the other half of it, from the full moon down to the dark moon, is the wrap up, the cool down, the waxing. You've built it up and build it up and build it up. You've reached the top, and then you spend your time editing and wrapping up and sorting out and finishing off and putting away and clearing all the decks. And then the dark moon is your gratitude. When you say thank you for doing all that, what am I doing next? See, you didn't know I could sing, did you? So let's think about new moon, setting intentions for our inspiration to culminate on the full moon with really getting into the swing of understanding how to gather inspiration and do stuff and get things together, and really starting to understand how, in terms of journaling, which we tend to think of, and I mean journaling in a broad sense, whether that's planning, bullet journaling, book of shadows journaling, whatever, art journaling, etc. Instead of thinking it in terms of, and today I sit down and journal, a more broad sense, a more organic way of looking at things. The letting go, yes, that's the gratitude and letting go, is the dark moon. Thank you and good night. Well, there's different ways of looking at it, and if you use the letting go as the waxing crescent, the third quarter, or the gratitude as the third quarter, then you do you. Whatever works for you. But personally, I've always done it that the crescent, the new moon, is the start off of the new stuff. The dark moon is the finishing and letting go of the old stuff. And the night before, which is technically the third day, the first day of 3 of the new moon, is the gratitude day. So you say, thank you, good night, and next. Or sometimes people use dark moon as just rest period. I do that if I'm really hectic. I'll use the dark moon as a day off. Funnily enough, Monday, I'm on a day off because I'm working tomorrow. I'm working my first, well, no, actually, I'm working my second Sunday this year. I don't work Sundays. And I'm doing my second Sunday in a month this year for you lot. It's fine. I'm taking Monday off. I've already scheduled Monday off. Dark moon. Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, you can use full moon for gratitude. It's up to you. I've always thought of the full moon as being the culmination, the fruition, and then you do the tweaking and the sorting out and the finishing off, and then when you're done and tidied up and finished, you sit down and you go, thank you. That's your gratitude, which is the night before the dark moon, because you have 3 nights of a full moon and 3 nights of a dark moon, except you have 1 night of a dark moon and 1 night of a new moon, and 1 night that isn't anything, because people get it confused and mixed up and it gets complicated. Anyway, release at the dark moon, burn stuff. Burn it all. That's Scooby's favourite saying. Just burn it. Just burn it all. It's in the way, burn it all. It's still on the floor, you haven't put it away, burn it all. Anyway, how can we know? Where is the best place to put our energy in order to learn how to be inspired and then use that inspiration? Because that's what we're trying to do next month in Midsummer Chronicles. So that ties in with this class because it's, you know, it's all the same thing. Even if you're not doing Midsummer Chronicles, it's going to be relevant. How can you concentrate on inspiration in June in such a way that you will learn how to find inspiration, work with that inspiration to generate ideas, and then turn those ideas into, for want of a better word, projects, actual stuff? Because it's all very well having lots of ideas, but if you don't actually do anything with them, then they're kind of pointless. See what we get, shall we? Invite your fears to tea. Ooh, that's an interesting one. I wasn't expecting that. Invite your fears to tea. Taking Tuesday off, taking the entire week after Pentecost. Pentecost, yeah, that's this last week, isn't it? Candlemas, Pentecost, I think. Because it's half term. Something, actually, no, let's read the card first before I start waxing lyrical. Invite your fears to tea. Anybody else reminded of Willowing and her little picnic with her inner monster? Her fear monster. She invited her fear monster round for a cup of tea and a slice of cake, and we drew it. Anybody remember that? It's like 10 years ago. Fears aren't facts. Often they're just scary thoughts or feelings. Indeed, instead of judging your fears, invite them to tea. Offer them a cookie and have a chat. Listen to what they have to say. When we're courageous enough to be with what scares us, we receive powerful wisdom. I will hold that to the camera and focus it so that you guys who like to screenshot it can do so. 1 second. Focus. Hold steady. Okay. So let's have another look at that. Fears aren't facts. It's pretty sound advice. Often they're just scary thoughts or feelings. Instead of judging your fears, invite them to tea. Offer them a cookie and have a chat. Listen to what they have to say. When we're courageous enough to be with what scares us, we receive powerful wisdom. Interesting. In terms of inspiration, I'm not a fearful person. In fact, I've never, to my knowledge, been particularly... I have no fear of perfection. We've talked about fear of perfection before. Wasn't that your little box, Mara? Fear of perfection. Yeah. So that's probably a big one for you. Ina's another one with fear of perfection. Yeah. Liz? You're not fear of perfection, are you? We talked about yours the other day, didn't we? Cody's not fear of perfection either. It's all right. I'm just going down the list looking at who's in class. Cody's not fear of perfection either. Can you put into words your fear, Cody? It's almost like a fear of being out of control, isn't it? I think that your ADHD somehow will get in the way of all the things that you want to do, and that you won't be able to control it enough to be able to settle down to finish anything. Yeah. Who else can put their fears into words? Can anybody? I guess the nearest I've got is my procrastination thing. But again, it's not, I wouldn't call it a fear. I don't have a fear of not being in control. I just like to be in control. I like to be, well, I suppose I could classify it as fear of being oppressed. I will do anything as long as I'm doing it for myself, not for other people. The minute I have to do it for other people, I don't feel like I'm in control of my own time or my own thing. When I finally got to grips with the whole...
I haven't watched it.
Oh, sorry, what? Oh, it was Jane. She hit the wrong button, I think. When I finally got to grips with the whole idea of teaching the class, stop thinking of it as doing things for you, and you want me to do this and you want me to do that, and therefore I procrastinate. And I've realized that actually, if I think of it as something that I want to do, which I do, I want to teach, I want to share what I know, I want to help you be more creative and arty and witchy and whatever else it is you want to learn. I want to facilitate that. So as long as I think of it in terms of things that I want to do with you to show you, then I'm not thinking of it in terms of, oh, I have to do this. I have to do this video. I have to go and teach now. I have to go and do this. I've stopped thinking of anything as I have to, and now I rephrase it as I want to, or I'm going to. Jane, we're getting feedback, hon. She's driving, so she may not be able to turn it off. Yeah, I don't think of it as I have to do things. I have to make a video. I have to go and stream now. I have to do this. I think of it as I'm going to go and stream now. I want to work on this study guide now.
Tell me about it.
This. I want to do that. And then I'm going to have to mute her, I think. Can I mute her? Oh, yes, I can. There we go. I can mute her from here. As long as I do that, I don't procrastinate. And procrastinate, it's not, I've never thought of it as a fear, but I suppose you could classify it as that, as a fear of feeling like I'm being controlled by other people, not being free to do what I want to do when I want to do it. Like I say, I don't classify that as a fear particularly, but it's the nearest I've got, so let's work with it, right? Maybe I need to revisit that and remind myself that the reason that I'm burning the candle at both ends this week, I'm absolutely shattered and I desperately need to have a night off, but I can't have one till Monday, is because I wanted to do a summer class about inspiration with you guys. And I just have to keep reminding myself of that until I get there, and then I can breathe and go, okay, that was fun. Maybe that's my message from this is, you know, I don't particularly have a fear, but I do have that thing that I need to be reminded of. Maybe I need to sit down with my cup of tea and just have a little chat with myself. Maybe I'm the one I need to invite for tea, you know? Fear of failing and not being good enough. Yeah. I think that's more for you, actually. I don't think you've got a fear of perfectionism. I think for Mara, from what we learned from Mara before, it's more that she actually does have a fear of perfectionism. I think she's frightened that one day she's actually going to do something so good she's never going to match it again. And then she's going to be in trouble. Whereas for you, Ina, I think it's more a case of fear of failure. Yeah, you're worried that whatever you do is not going to be good enough. Whereas with Mara, I think she's realized that she's learning stuff and she's getting better. And now she's got that fear of, oh, but what if I really do it so well that I can never match it again? What if I have a fluke and I do something really good and then I can't do it again? It's hard to let go. I can't take medication for anxiety, so I have to learn the hard way to let go. It's been a challenge. Yeah. Oh, Burgess. Process of letting go of fears and anxiety and work in progress. Yeah. Again, see, the thing is with anxiety, it's not, anxiety is, well, that I've always heard it explained as depression is fear of the past and anxiety is fear of the future. And people who apparently don't need to take medication for either of those things tend to say, well, you know, if you live in the present, you don't have to worry about either of them. And to a certain extent, that's true. However, anxiety and depression are also chemical imbalances that some of us cannot do anything about. So we do tend to get anxious. And I think for me, that is where my lack of control comes in. Because I only procrastinate. Once I've actually done something, I can finish it. I don't have any problem. But actually getting started, light a fire under my butt. Fear of messing up. Right. Fear of getting to that point where it's almost perfect, but then, oh, damn, messed it up at the last hurdle. Never quite reaching perfection for you, isn't it? You've got a vague idea that maybe one day you could reach perfection, but you're always going to mess it up at the last minute. And that's the point that scares you. You can start, but you can't finish. Yeah. And yet we both have anxiety. So what does that tell you about pigeonholing, Burgess? You're a control freak, Mika, right? So it's not actually so much fear of messing up for you. It's more a fear of things not going according to the way you wanted them to go. Which is not quite the same thing. Fear of making a mistake is not the same thing as fear of things not going the way you want it to be. You have an idea in your head that this is how it's going to go. And if it doesn't go like that, your control freak goes, what are you doing? That was not the plan. Oh, and then a fear of how others will react to that. Ah, right. Right. So for you, it is both. You have a plan, but you're worried that you won't be able to execute it, and then everybody else will laugh at you because you didn't do it right. Yeah, I think that's quite a common one. And then Jane's got a nice hefty dose of guilt thrown in there as well, because if she messes up and everybody laughs at her, then obviously that's her fault and she should have tried harder. Oh, it's not funny, but it is, right? You have to laugh or you'd cry. Don't have fear around creativity. I have too much of a it is what it is attitude. Yeah, I'm the same actually. Specifically with being creative, I'm like, oh, whatever, I don't care. Almost to the point where I well, yeah, literally don't care. And the problem is with creativity is if you don't care, you don't learn anything. Because you should be caring at least to the point of saying, well, I hope that I do better than the last time, or I hope that this is a little bit more realistic, or this is a bit more imaginative, or I try different colors. You know, you should have some kind of thing that you're working towards. And if you're too blasé, as I tend to be, you tend to be like, you stagnate, because you tend to be like, well, I don't care. I don't care if I make something new. I don't care if I make something innovative. I just want to paint. Leave me alone. So I think me and Luna both have that kind of just shut up and let me paint gene. Usually too afraid to start a project or drawing or anything, and then I get mad at myself because I fear failure. But you can't fail if you don't start, right? But you can't succeed if you don't start either. So your fear of failure is worse than your fear of success. Some people fear success. My fear is I didn't learn enough before I started, right? You're not prepared. Not prepared to see it through. Which, coupled with ADHD, I mean, the second you hit any kind of roadblock, you're just going to be like, oh, well, throw it in the corner. Let's go do something else. So yeah, I can understand that being a fear. Yeah. It's fear that you didn't learn enough, so you're not going to be able to get through it all and stay focused. In terms of art, I just invited my fear to tea by taking the wrapping off some watercolors I've had for ages. Yes! Well done, Deb! Woohoo! I think that deserves a round of applause. Come on. She's been hanging on to those watercolor for ages. Didn't you say at the beginning of the year you got those? And that was one of your aims, was to finally use them. Been afraid to try. Even swatched them. Excellent. Excellent. The thing is, with most art materials, if you don't use them, you lose them because they go off. The only exception is oil paint. Even paper goes off. You get weevils and all sorts of stuff going on. Mold if you're too humid. If you live in a humid environment like Cody, everything goes off. I pulled 3 cards last week and they were positive cards. And I was like, this can't be right. Yeah, it happens sometimes. It happens sometimes. My fear is, I think, a fear of failing, but failing others. Ah, interesting. So you're not afraid of not being able to do something. You're afraid of letting others down. Not so much failing a project or failing myself. I try to do what everybody wants me to do. Ah, people pleaser. We call that being a people pleaser, Risha. It's a very difficult one to get past because you've got outwardly, you're projecting your self-worth comes from what other people give you, which is a complete oxymoron. Your self-worth, what you think of yourself, what you think of yourself comes from other people. Think about the logic of that for a while. Because that's no. Other people should not control how you feel about yourself. Absolutely not. That's a fear worth really getting to grips with. Most of them you can just push aside and ignore, I think. But I think fear of failing others outweighing fear of letting yourself down is a big one. Fear of procrastination and whatever that comes from is another one. And I think not feeling prepared or not ready to finish, like Cody and Burgess, is probably the third biggest fear. My cards this week are all about protecting myself and others, protecting the underdog, protecting creativity, following intuition. Yes, intuition is such a big part of inspiration and creativity. My fear at the moment is the last 3 days dealing with my teen. Yeah, I think everybody fears dealing with teens, let's face it. But is that actually fear of dealing with him, or is it more a fear of failing as a mother? Because there's very different things. It's like Mika's worried about letting other people down through her own inabilities. Risha is worried about letting people down because that affects how she feels about herself. Fear of his actions and consequences and doing the right thing. So fear of not being able to help, not being able to being powerless. That's a feeling of being powerless, isn't it? So your fear is powerlessness. Actually, I'm going to keep that out because I'm going to need the book. I've not done a reading with this. See, sometimes it helps to just say out loud what you think the problem is and have other people reword it so that you can actually pinpoint it. That's how I made my breakthrough with procrastination and my fear of not being free to do what I want to do. I want to be free to do what I want to do. What's that, sheep on drugs? Oh, you probably have no idea. Half of you are too old to know and half of you are too young. Look at that one. I love that card. So pretty. Okay, so let's do basic 3 cards because that's the best way to deal with a new deck, I think, or it is for me. Where are we coming from? What are we dealing with? And how do we deal with what we've got? And where are we going? Look how pretty these cards are. They're shiny. Look at them. They're so beautiful. Oh, thank you, Ashley. Okay, so our inspiration and how to learn to move forward with inspiration to idea to actual doing is linked to our fears, apparently, and those fears we need to get to know. So how have we dealt with those fears in the past? Yes, everything's available later, provided I don't hit the wrong button and it doesn't save, because that happens quite frequent. Well, not frequently, it has happened before. But it did happen the same day that my computer froze, my webcam stopped working and my sewing machine stopped. That was also the day that nothing saved. So I think we can chalk that up to Mercury retrograde and move on. That one seems to want to come out, so we'll use that one. It was, yeah. So how have we dealt with these fears in the past? What are we learning about dealing with these fears now? And how will that help us with our inspiration, ideas, creativity, etc. in the future? It's a good set of questions, isn't it? Should be interesting. Now, I'm going to use the guidebook for this as well. I don't normally use guidebooks for books, but I do when I'm getting to know my tarot cards. I look at the tarot cards and see what's going on and see what I can pick up from them. But I also like to have the book so that I can look it up and see if I've missed anything, or if there's something that the author has particularly put into those cards that they want us to see. Is that all on camera? Oh, yeah, it is. Okay. So how have we dealt with these fears in the past? And you're thinking specifically of your own fear that you've identified. The devil. Oh, well, if that, oh, that's beautiful. If that isn't just... He reminds me of a horned sphinx. He kind of reminds me of the Sphinx, but with hidden depths. And he's got lots of lines and chains and like almost like rigging, you know, like on a ship, and spikes and defenses, and there's all this lovely swirly, scrolly, calm, smooth loveliness underneath. And then the top of it is all this spiky, horned, kind of energy. So what do we remember about the devil on the journey? The fool's journey. The fool comes to the devil. What's the lesson that the fool learns from the devil? Oh, I've run out of coffee. What's the fool can't, sorry, I'm trying to get away from the, I'm trying to get it away from the glare, but I can't. There we go. I'll have to do it like that. So, the fool's sauntering along. He comes to the devil's mountain. What does he see? He sees the devil surrounded by, do we remember? No. Lots of debauchery. Lots of unmentionables. And all these people chained, doing all the worst nasty things they can possibly do. Debauched nastiness, basically, indulging in every vice. And the fool says, "You evil devil, grr, how dare you chain all these people up and force them to be..." Night, Liz. See you later. How dare you chain all these people up and force them to get horizontal with each other and do drugs and drink and goodness knows what else till the wee hours. And the devil says, excuse me, you need to look a bit closer, because if you do, you will see that they may have chains attached to them, but the chains are not attached to anything. All these people are here because they want to be. How does that relate to fear? When you get into that anxious state of fear and getting wound up and knotted up and restricting yourself, chaining yourself because of your fears, thank you, Mika, it's all in your head. Yeah. Binding yourself up. What's the well, my non-English speakers might not know this, but the ones who do, what is what is it called? What's the colloquialism for that? When you're getting all stressed out and overwhelmed over nothing? Tying yourself in knots. Thank you, Deb. That's what it's called, tying yourself in knots. So your fear is all in your head. It's not real. Oh, funnily enough, isn't that what it says? Fears aren't facts. They're just scary thoughts and feelings. So it's not real. You're imagining it all. But in the past, you've allowed yourself to be tied down by it. You've tied yourself up in knots with it. You've not allowed all this lovely, smooth, calm stuff underneath to break free because you've been too busy with all the spiky chains and stuff going on up here. Funnily enough, the devil is known as the card of fear. What are we now learning? Now, as in ourselves, not like literally right now, but the now people, you know, past us, present us, future us, you know, we're generalizing here. How is present us learning to cope with and deal with that fear in terms of our creativity? Let's find out, shall we? The lovers. What are we learning about our fears? What are we learning about our inner monsters? Card, it's in the card. What do lovers do? Not like that. Even inner monsters need a hug. We need to embrace our fears. Oh my God, there's another thing. We're tying ourselves up in knots. We need to embrace our fears. That's another colloquialism. Embrace your fears. Being less afraid, following your compassion, it makes it lighter. Oh, Mika, you are going to get on with this deck so well. You're going to love this deck. You are going to, your tarot reading and intuition reading that you've been struggling with just finding a deck you could click with, you're about to level up, honey. As soon as you get this deck, you're going to suddenly, everything will click. You are so good at reading these cards. A few more days of waiting, yes. But once you get it, it'll be a match made in heaven. There's something about these cards that is just really speaking to you. Because I know you don't know the tarot this well. And I know I'm not giving you enough information for you to be able to just make it up on the spot. Because everybody else is getting it kind of wrong, but sometimes right. But you're there. You're like, boom, that's what it is. So you're taking it from the cards. Can't wait to see what you do with them. I'm getting so hot under this light. Look at me. I've got all the doors and windows open. My hand's freezing, but my face is roasting. Be less afraid and show compassion. Yes, it makes it lighter. Absolutely. Communicate. Embrace. There we go. Jane got it. Found the Mythic Tarot deck and book on eBay for $19.95 and ordered it. That'll be a new one. That'll be the 2008 one. You'll get on well with that, Burgess, because you know quite a few of the myths, and the ones that you don't know you're interested in learning. So, oh yes, she's very confident. Look at her. Head up. She is an African queen. Look at her. She's a goddess. Oh yeah. She is so confident. So confident. So having tied ourselves up in knots and now learning to embrace our inner fears. How did I phrase it? How are we going to use this knowledge in the future to improve our creativity and inspiration? Is that what I said? How are we going to move forward with this to get our inspiration and creativity going? Confidence in moving forward. Thank you. How are we going to use this to be confident about moving forward? Ooh, 5 of Cups. 5 of Cups. Yeah, if you don't feel it, you don't feel it. Pull your own cards and see how you connect to those pictures. I love this deck. This is my kind of art. This is absolutely my kind of art. And Mika is loving this deck. But Ashley couldn't connect to it either, so she's probably got her cards out as well. If you're not connecting with this deck, pull your own cards. So it's the Devil, the Lovers, and the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups is always a nice card. Always a nice card. I'm just going to look up the Devil and the Lovers and things in this one. Just make sure we haven't missed anything. Where are we? Emperor, Empress. Oh, go by the numbers. Go by the numbers, silly woman. 6. 6. Nope. That's 5. 6. The Lovers. Yep, all the usual. 15, the Devil. Love the deck, it just wasn't for me. Yeah. You like the art, but not the deck. Yeah. That's perfectly possible. Liking the deck, but really do think with Mythic Tarot. Yeah, you're going to love the Mythic Tarot because it's a very literary deck. And you do like your literature and reading, so. Mika, you're going to love this deck. This is your deck. The Devil. Cages, prisons, weak willpower. Yeah, the usual. Yeah. The Five of Cups. Honestly, Mika put it the best. I mean, the emotions can freely flow with our creativity. Because here's another. You got to read it as a whole, you see. In the past, we've tied ourselves up in knots. But if we embrace our inner monster, love conquers all. Boom! That's what the Five of Cups is. Love conquers all. Let your emotions flow free and magic happens. It's a flaming unicorn. Look at it. Look at all the water, the emotions, the well. What's inspiration about, guys? What's inspiration about? What are we doing when we go on an artist date? Or an art venture, as I like to call them. We're refilling our well. At this point, I should probably do a mic drop, but I only just bought it and I don't want to break it already. Okay, so boom, mic drop. You're going to get on with this deck so much, Mika. You have nailed all 3 of those cards. The only way you could nail those 3 cards any better is if you came up with the actual 3 sayings that went with them. Yeah, it's all about learning from mistakes. The horse is looking backwards. He's looking back at what he's done and learning from his mistakes. He's looking back at where he's come from. But he's moving forward, yeah. He's moving forward through the well. He's a unicorn, but he's actually got 8 legs. So he could be linked to Striga, is it? Thor's warhorse. Look at the sign he's got on his, carved on his body. Can you see it? Let me get those of you who know your astrology. I know there's not many of you. Not many of you do your homework for astrology, but what's that sign? It's a shame Liz isn't here, actually, because Liz could tell you. Liz could tell you all about this card. Can you see his sign there on his body? The key. It's the key to healing. Because that key is the symbol of Chiron, the wounded healer. Do you remember the centaur who was shot in battle by his best friend accidentally? He was immortal and he was pierced with an arrow that had poison that caused a mortal wound. Well, you can't kill an immortal, so he couldn't heal his wound. He was forever alive with a terrible mortal wound that should have killed him. Funnily enough, I mentioned Chiron at the beginning of the story. Chiron couldn't heal himself. And he decided that the best way to deal with what he was going through was through self-sacrifice. So what he did was he went and relieved Prometheus of his position. Do we know who Prometheus is? What did Prometheus do? The rebel Aquarian. Anyone know? Ina's typing, she might know. Yes, he gave fire to the people. He did. He stole fire from the gods and he gave it to the people. And yea, verily, Zeus was very mad with him. And what did he do? He stuck him on a rock for eagles to peck out his liver every day. And then, when the sun went down, he resurrected him, because he's like that. And it all went round and round and round. And Chiron said, well, you know what? Oh, sorry. The caveat was he was chained there, not for all of eternity. Usually Zeus's punishments, Jupiter was like, you know, because Jupiter over everything. You are staying there for all of eternity. No, no, no. He was nice to Prometheus and he said, you know what? I will let you free from that rock the day someone else offers to take your place. And everybody else took a step back. Went, oh, you're on your own, mate. See you later. Good luck. And eventually Chiron said, well, you know what? I'm an immortal. I can't sleep. I can't die. I can't do anything. And here I am stuck with this god-awful pain that I can't do anything with. So I reckon, A, having my liver plucked out by eagles every day can't possibly be any worse than that. I probably won't even notice it. And hey, bonus, I get to die. Which is kind of like going to sleep because I'm going to get resurrected tomorrow. So, okay, Prometheus, I'll give you a deal. Off you go. I'll take your place. Okay, take my liver so I can die, at least until tomorrow. So he gets to sleep, die, whatever. He gets to have a few hours of not dealing with constant, unbelievably torturous pain. And Jupiter went, oh, that's so nice. Well, I can't heal you either, but you know what I can do for being so nice? I can turn you into a star in the sky. And boom. Just like that, Prometheus is free, like, sucker, going off to get into more trouble because, yeah, he did. Of course he did. He was an Aquarian. And the centaur gets to become immortal, but in a different way. So he's still immortal, but he becomes essentially He is elevated to heavenly status. So he's not quite a god, but he might as well be. You only went to the heavens for two reasons. Either you were almost a god, or you were in so much trouble they wanted to keep you right where they could keep an eye on you. If you were bad, you went to hell. If you were really bad, you went to heaven. Because Jupiter liked to keep his friends close and his enemies closer. Hence Cassiopeia ending up in heaven with her skirts around her head because she offended Juno. It was not a very good idea. You mentioned him earlier. If anyone does God worship, you might want to choose him for this week. Oh, cool. Okay. Give 5 to the people. Plants on the left are tamed. On the right, they're wild and unknown. Ooh, she's doing a bit of engaging with this deck after the fact, Miss Ashley. Nourishing our creative self and our inner child, refilling the well. Yeah. Give your inner child a hug. Make it, or in this case, your inner old man. Give your inner old man a hug. Refill your well. Heal yourself. Because what do fears do? They hurt us. So, as we've already been told, the best way to conquer your fears is to invite them to tea. And people say tarot doesn't work. Anyone who's had a reading with me will tell you otherwise. I'm going to keep those cards out so that I remember to scan them and put them in my book, because I think that would be an excellent spread to put in my inspiration book. Actually, I might keep them out and just do a doodle of them because they're kind of cool. Purple, colour of royalty and godlike status. Well, they do say that if you are your worst enemy if you see yourself as God. You know, people who see themselves as God have no compassion. They have no sense of they might ever possibly be wrong or need to learn anything, you know. The Lovers, red, passion, love. Seeing things in black and white, looking at the two sides and bringing them together. It's almost like a yin yang. Look at the curve of him and the curve of her. It is almost like a yin yang. And who is this? Who is this little dude in the red up at the top? I kind of want to say that might be Venus. Although it has a water symbol. So it's obviously something to do with water. Obviously, emotions, love. An archangel. Doesn't seem to have wings. I'm not sure who it would be. Let's have a look. Does it say who the people are in the pictures? Or does it just say what they are? When I scanned it, it kind of looks like just the usual Rider-Waite interpretation and not really saying what it was. The Lovers card is about wedding opposites, man, woman, energies, ideas, parts of the self, ideas. In the Kabbalistic tree of life, number 6, the Sephiroth, Tiphareth, is the very center of the three. Oh, that's that. So she's from the Kabbalah tree of life. The 6 Sephiroth, Sephiroth. It sounds like archangel, doesn't it? Seraphs, seraphim, and all that. That sounds similar. I'm going to say that's some kind of. I think you might be right with the archangel thing there. The six. Okay, I'm not going to try and say that again. Her name is Tiphareth. Is at the very center of the tree and means peace, beauty, and harmony, and is usually thought of as the sun, archangel, Gabriel, the flaming sword, right? So it is bright and warming. Everything is connected to the center structure and it radiates. This is not the tree. I don't see a tree there. Everything radiates out from the center structure, energy out to all the other Cepher thingies. It is sometimes cautioned that from the lower of them, should we call them branches? There we go. Which is where our consciousness, oh, they're like chakras. They seem to be like chakras. Oh, there's 7. Is it the pencil? Jesus, wet. How have I not got a pencil on my desk? Is it that? Is that the Kabbalah? That thing? So it's talking about the upper and the lower. If that's the Kabbalistic tree of life, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then these equate to chakras: root chakra, solar plexus, crown. And then we've got 2 at the others. Okay. Where our consciousness usually lies. This can appear as a god, and one shouldn't be mistaken. Mistaken about what? I would say that each Cepher thingy is God, and the whole tree of life, and thus the whole universe, is God's body, including all of us and everything else that exists. Tiphereth is love, harmony, perfection, beauty, attractive force in the universe. So basically heart chakra. So that puts her here somewhere in this area. Solar plexus, heart, crown, heart, third eye, crown. So she's in there somewhere. Or is she? Oh, no, it says she's the center. So she's the heart chakra there. Okay. Oh, I missed the throat chakra. That's why. Crown, third eye, throat, heart, solar plexus, root, solar plexus, next one down, whatever that is, and root. This is so hard to read. Love, harmony, perfection, beauty, you said that already, is the attractive force in the universe, as Empedocles so long ago envisioned, besides the 4 elements, that there were 2 main forces that acted upon them, love and hate, to love and draw together, to hate and be repulsed or separated. Love is coagula, where hate is solve, to separate, repel, and take apart. Love is the center and love is divine. Love is the glue that holds everything together. Marriage, joining, union, love, attraction, acceptance, non-judgment. Don't judge your fears. Give them a hug. It's very, very willowing, this is, isn't it? Give your inner child a hug. It's the Kabbalah tree. It has 10 spots. Oh, right. I'm missing a thing it should have. I didn't think it looked long enough. So it should be like that. Right. Okay. That's still the... That is hard work to read that. Is this all Kabbalistic then? Oh no, because that talks about the Eye of Horus. And it's got Wordsworth in it. And it's just, oh. Okay. My 5 of Cups is dark, but I like it. It makes sense to me. Sitting down with my fears, I have the full cups and I'm looking at the bright horizon in the distance. My fear is looking back and has empty cups. So you've taken your power back. You've taken all those feelings back. Oh, look, she's showing us. Hang on. She's showing us her. Where's she gone? There she is. Boom. Oh, he's creepy. Oh, he's like he reminds me of the White Rabbit from Alice in Wonderland, who I always thought was creepy and shady. Moving past fears to the bright horizon, I have the resources while my fears have nothing. Yeah, they're just feelings, and they're all your feelings. Water, cups. My lover's card is different, but also makes sense. I see an embrace and inner peace, looking at what we want to become, finding myself. Oh yeah, look at that. Two black and white coming together. Life and death, the two trees, all being overseen by the archangel. So Ashley was right when she said archangel, because it's the sun, isn't it? It's Gabriel with the flaming sword. That's nice. I like the colours in that one. I like the little weird bunny creatures. So what's your other one? What's your devil like? Ooh, crikey. It's like something out of a Tim Burton movie. He's awesome, though. What is he, a pterodactyl skeleton? With chained up bunnies? Oh!
I think they're like little dogs.
Oh! He's got little chained up puppies. Mean pterodactyl. He's really awesome, though. Look at that. He's cool. I need to draw him. Can I take a screenshot of him? Can you hold him still a sec? And I'll take a screenshot. I need to draw him in my sketchbook. Oh, he's awesome. I can see why you can connect with those cards more easily. They're very emotional, and you're a water. You're very water based.
Although I am an air sign. Right?
You are an air sign, but all your emotional stuff is water based, isn't it? So interesting. So that's our reading for the month, for the next 2 weeks, working towards, for our inspirations, overcoming our fears by learning to love them and embrace them and say, oh, it's okay. Now the question is, how? How can you embrace your fears? Yeah, it's all very well saying, well, invite your fears to tea. Okay. And then what? Then what are we going to do? Sit and twiddle our thumbs? Well, the card told us, didn't it? What we're going to do next. It said, when we're courageous enough to be with what scares us, we receive powerful wisdom. So sit with those fears. Sit and think about your fear of letting other people down, or your fear of failure, or your fear of perfectionism, or your fear of losing your freedom, which is mine, I suppose. Your fear of not being good enough. Sit with it. Invite it to tea. What can you learn from it? How do you learn stuff? By journaling about it. Okay, how do you journal about it? Stuff doesn't just pop into your head from nowhere. How do you bring that forward? Well, sometimes Q&A. Exactly. You ask questions. Funnily enough, that's one of the lessons in inspiration in the Midsummer Chronicles. Learning how to get inspired by asking questions. So ask your fear questions. What's the worst that can happen? If I allow myself to feel this fear, What's the worst that can happen? What can I learn from that? What can I was going to write a letter to myself. Homework from my coach. Oh, excellent. So Ina's going to sit down and give herself a good stern talking to over a nice cup of tea and say, look, honey, yes, I need to revisit mine. I need to remind myself, I think. The worst, it won't answer. But it will, because you've been told it will. When you are courageous enough to be with what scares you, you will receive powerful wisdom. Because that's what happens when you confront your fears. When you face your fears, you learn something. So there will be an answer. If you're not getting an answer, then thwack, Mr. Gideon, you're not paying attention. You're not listening. Letter to yourself is a good idea. Yeah, it is. If you're a righty person, a letter to yourself is a good idea. You could be scientific and analyze it like herbs. Yeah, what a cool idea. Draw a diagram of your fear and what it's made up of. Turn it into like a pie chart or something. It's 6% this and 5% this and 20% this. And what can you do to counterbalance each bit? That's an awesome idea. I like that idea. I might do that myself. For me, it feels more like I need to weigh it up. And I'm a visual person. So for me, I see it as almost depicting what my lovers would look like. So I'm almost considering redrawing this card to discover what is my black and white comprised of? What are the two things I need to bring together in order to dispel the whole idea that if I feel like I'm doing stuff for other people? Strangely enough, I kind of feel like that class is doing this for me, because I need a holiday. I need a break. I need to refill my well. So what better way to do it when you can't take a holiday and refill your well than teach other people how to do it, thereby refilling your well, right? How do I refill my well? By teaching you how to do yours. And then I get to do mine. It's kind of hedonistic. I'm doing what I want to do. What an interesting set of cards. I drew him a few years ago. He's my OCD monster. Oh, let's see is this the one? Did you do this one from the Willowing class?
No, actually, I got inspired by Courtney. She drew.
Oh, right. Yeah, she drew her monster, didn't she? Wasn't he pink and fluffy or something?
Well, she drew one that was like her anxiety monster, and it hugged like her family.
Right. I remember.
And you can, anybody in this group can go watch it. She uploaded on YouTube.
Oh, cool. I'll find the link to that and put it in class.
Yeah, I was dealing with a lot of OCD issues, so I drew my big, overpowering OCD monster that was yelling at me.
Doesn't look big and overpowering to me. He looks like Sully to me.
Well, the thing is that he can be cute. Like, he turns down and he goes into like a little small form, and I can ignore him most of the time. But when he gets really angry, he gets big and fluffy. And
but he's all big and fluffy. Why don't you give him a hug?
Well, it's hard when he's screaming at you.
Embrace your inner monster, Cody.
But I put like all of these negative words in his fur.
Well,
like,
you see, if you were hugging him, you wouldn't be able to read the negative words, would you?
Well, I get too
maybe you need to draw a picture of you hugging your regular sized monster. Maybe you need to turn him into a nice little plushy pet.
Yeah.
And give him a cuddle. I think it's time for a redraw.
I can do that.
Yes. In the past, you've let him stand there and shout at you. And now you just, and instead of just making him small and ignoring him, you're just going to make him normal size and give him a cuddle. And say, there, it's okay, I'm listening. What do you need to tell me? I never drew my monster note, but I remember the video Courtney did. Yeah, I'll find it on YouTube and link to it. I remember it now. It was the one with the big gangly arms that went all the way around the page, wasn't it? And she wrote in the middle, and she had all her pictures and stuff in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah, like this is a Courtney art right here.
Yeah, that's cool. Actually, I like that. There's a meme somewhere about loving your inner demons. Yeah, there's quite a few people have done little cartoon drawings. I know quite a few of them because I follow a lot of introverts and cartoonists. Sorry, Courtney, I've left you in the spotlight again, haven't I? There you go. I like it. So, Mara, you're being very quiet. How are you going to overcome this perfectionism issue? This issue of, oh, but what if it's not good enough?
I don't know. It's interesting, though. A few days ago, somebody asked me what my next step was after this move and everything. Now that I've made this one big step, I'm not sure what's going to happen next. So I don't know. I did like the scientific analysis idea.
I think that'd suit you, actually. Yeah. I think Deb's onto a winner there with scientific analysis because you are very logical. You are very, if I do this, then this, this happens. So if you can figure out how to get from fear of perfection, fear of actually getting to perfection, fear of actually messing it up at the last hurdle and not getting where you want to be, to allowing your inspiration and creativity to negate that somehow. Perhaps for you, it could be more, it might be turn out to be more about being prepared, like Cody said. I think you and Cody both have the same issue. You need to be prepared. So perhaps by learning to slow down and instead of just jumping in and doing stuff, do the groundwork, find the inspiration, generate the ideas, come up with different possibilities, do the sketches, as it were, before you plan out what you're going to do in final draft. Maybe that will help you feel more confident in going forward.
That's a good idea. I keep thinking about this one painting I started a while ago, and I love it, but I won't finish. I can't finish it because I'm afraid to mess it up.
Yeah.
And that example keeps coming to mind. I don't know how. Yeah.
I think perhaps you need to get to the point where you have enough inspiration. Perhaps you need to use your inspiration gathering with that picture in mind. That might be a good exercise for you, specifically seeing how you can use these different things. I mean, everything we're doing is pretty universal. You can put leaves in just about everything. You can put trees in just about everything. You could even squeeze a fairy into most paintings. So, you know, there's going to be stuff that you can use. And at the same time, even if there isn't, you're learning how to capture ideas. Once you have all those ideas, you can figure out which ones. I read a quote earlier, actually. I meant to write it down. I can't remember who said it. The way to generate good ideas is to have lots of ideas and throw away the bad ones. And I think that's maybe something that you need to look at. Generate all the ideas that you can think of and then just get rid of the crap ones. What you've got left has got to be things you can work with, because you've already prejudged them. So anything you do with them has got to be at least reasonable, if not good. So it can't fail. If it's going to be at least mediocre, it can't fail. Right? So you're already setting the bar by saying, right, my bar is here, and anything that doesn't meet that bar, we're getting rid of. It only qualifies if it's above this level. That you could do as a scientific study. What is your 50% mark? Or where is your bar? Does something have to be 70% good? 80% good? How far can you get into something before you say, ooh, but now I feel like I'm going to mess it up? If you're getting as far as 90%, you haven't got a lot of work to do. If you're 50%, you've got a lot of work to do, but it's going to be easier to do. Because it's basically just, is it good or is it bad? And you're not like Risha. Risha's favorite line, well, I think it is, but I'm not 100% sure. You don't have that. You're quite a good decision maker. Trust your intuition. Trust what your gut is telling you, because even if 6 months ago it would have seemed like a good idea, or it's something that, if it's something that you think, well, it is a good idea, but not right now, put it on the back burner, put it in another list somewhere to use later. And specifically concentrate on ideas that would be good for finishing that painting. Maybe finishing that painting is going to mark a new step for you. Or being okay with not finishing that painting. Because it's haunting you that you haven't painted it. So maybe you need to just say, you know what, it's not finished and I don't care. I'm going to call it finished and say it's done. Nobody's ever going to know but me. I've got lots of unfinished work that people think is finished. And actually, I got bored like 60% of the way through and I just went, oh, sod it. I'm just going to add a few finishing touches and varnish it and say it's finished. Nobody knows but me and I don't care. Oh, because me and Luna, we've got to get over our, yeah, but we don't really care. Luna's going to struggle to do the exercise, I think. She's going to be like, I don't need to do that because I don't care. Whatever. Shut up, I'm going to go and paint. Well, why don't you paint? There you go, Luna. Why don't you do it? That's because that was my reaction. Oh, I'm just going to paint something. So I'm going to paint, I think, or sketch or something, or represent pictorially what it is that I need to bring together. What are the two sides, the black and white, that I need to have embracing each other in order to make the most of my creativity and let it flow freely. Maybe you need to do the same. Maybe you need to get painting or color penciling. Right. I think we'll call it a day. We overran a bit, but it's been a fun session. Oh, it's only going to be an hour coffee chat, she said. If you're in Midsummer Chronicles, I'll see you tomorrow at 4 if you want to come along. It is going to be a quick chat about just getting started, looking for your art dates and things like that. There are PDFs going up as soon as some of them are up already and some of them are, I've got another one to put up that will go up either tonight or tomorrow morning, because this weekend is all about figuring out what your art dates are going to be. And part of that is, we're going to be going over tomorrow the stuff that we were looking at the other day. If you want to do one art date, if you want to do 4 art dates, if you want to do one every day, it's entirely up to you how you do it. Do what you can manage, because I know some of you can't manage to get out and about, and I have the similar problem. I've got 4 days a week where I can barely leave the house because I'm teaching in the morning and teaching in the afternoon. So I've really only got Mondays and Tuesdays and Sundays if I'm okay to have the day. So I can't always get out and about, but I'm always looking for myself, so I interpret it that way. This tarot reading reminded me of it. Yes. How do you find yourself? How do you connect your inspiration and creativity? In fact, if anything, you need to do the opposite of what most people need to do. This is, I don't think Liz will mind me saying this. One of the things that came up in her astrology reading was that she connects her own self-worth too much to things. I'll just say things. Your issue is almost the other way. You don't connect yourself enough to things. Maybe what you need to do is find how using inspiration and creativity and refilling your well reconnects you with who you really are and what your place in your life is, because you don't seem to have one. Everybody else seems to govern your life except you, and you seem quite happy to just roll with the punches and let them. Perhaps you need to take back your creativity and inspiration as something that is entirely and wholly you, because nobody else can judge your inspiration. Nobody else can judge your ideas, because at the end of the day, you're only going to share with people that might judge them the outcome of it. You're never going to share ideas. You would share ideas with people like us. You might share inspiration with people like us because we get it. None of us is going to turn around and go, well, that's crap. We don't, because it's your idea. No, there is no such thing as a bad, well, there is such a thing as a bad idea, but there are a lot of ideas that are good ideas at the time. Let's put it that way. It seemed like a good idea at the time. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, but only you can figure that out for you, because it might work for somebody else or it might not work for somebody else. It's like witchcraft. You have to figure it out for you, because nobody else can tell you what will work for you or how you feel about things. And I think you need to reconnect with that, because you're allowing everybody to tell you how you feel about things and what you need to do about things, and not really owning the fact that your inspiration is your own. It's just yours. Nobody else can tell you how to be inspired. Nobody else can tell you that your inspiration is wrong or it's no good or whatever, because your inspiration doesn't really exist. Your inspiration is just an idea in your head. And the only person who can judge an idea good or bad in your head is who? You. Yeah. Me. I could do that. Me. Maybe let your cat in on the deal, because cats are quite helpful. Let your cat help you decide what's good and bad. Trust your cat's judgment, not everybody else's. Okay? Cats are good. Thinking about having to do a private reading. That's why I'm struggling so much. Yeah. You do struggle quite a lot, don't you? But you're also very aware of it and very open about it. But you do. It's not a nice way of putting it, but you kind of have a doormat personality where you're quite happy to let everybody else just walk over you. And you eventually, you might possibly get to the point where you go, hey, don't do that. I don't like it. But you never really stand up and fight. And I think maybe your inspiration and creativity can help you build up that self-esteem again and say, actually, what I think of myself is more important than what you think of me. If we can get Risha to that point by the end of the class, we'll have won the internet for the week, okay? That's our next job, is to get Risha to the point where her opinion is more important than everybody else's. Trying to do that. You are trying to do it, and you're succeeding with a lot of it. You are really trying. And we can all help you do that. Burn some stuff in next week's fire. Yes. That's part of our midsummer ritual, is going to be burning stuff. Oh yeah, we're going to do a fire ritual for midsummer, because midsummer is the full moon. It's the culmination. It's the point where we decide what we're taking forward with us and what we're leaving behind and saying, no, this isn't going to work. It's editing time, people. my card for today is the Page of Cups. Oh, that's a nice card to have. Learning to adult in a emotional way. I think embracing your inner fears is definitely learning to adult. So let's go do some of that, shall we? I will see you guys tomorrow if you're in the class, and next week if you're not. Have a good weekend. Bye.